Welcome to electronicsNmore. In today's video, we're going to be taking a closer look at this Sjcam SJ5000X sport camera. Photographs can be taken up to 12 megapixels. Newer cameras can take up to 16 megapixels. It is waterproof up to 30 meters or around 100 feet deep. The camera also has built-in Wi-Fi. You can connect with your smartphone to use the camera. This camera also includes a gyro sensor, and that's to add stability to the image as you're filming the video. To connect the Sjcam to your smartphone, you're going to have to download the proper app, Google Play or the App Store. You can also scan directly on the box to install those apps. Let's open this up and take a look. Very nicely packaged, just like a GoPro. Let's lift this out. Take a closer look at this in a minute. Let me take all the accessories out, lay them out. Okay, this is everything that was included with the camera. You have a spare rear panel. This goes over the display, the 2-inch LCD. In the event you scratch it or the seal right here becomes damaged, which appears to be silicone, you can always replace the back door. You have a suction cup mount. You can mount this on glass and any configuration that you want. Loosen that. And you'll notice the camera has this connection, and that will slide all the way on and lock. The camera does require a micro SD card. I used a 16 gig. I would recommend a 16 or a 32. Lens cleaning cloth. Over here is a mounting bracket for bicycle handlebars for the camera. And you have a couple of other adapters for turning the camera. Different styles. This is a swivel. And this one here, you would take the camera out of the housing and you can install it inside. It'll click right in. And you can clip it onto something. Over here, 2 more mounting bases. This would click right in. Like that, and squeeze it and push it back out. Adhesive on the back, couple of decals, owner's manual, extra Velcro 3M, also includes a couple of straps. Right there. You can also purchase for a very low cost online. There's a kit. This right here goes on your head. Camera mounts here. You could loosen this and adjust the angle of the camera any way you want it. And on the back, I added this on the back of my head. If I'm on a jet ski out in the water, I don't want to worry about this flying off my head. If I wipe out, so you could add this little float, makes it very visible if this falls off your head and winds up in the water. You can also purchase a chest mount like this. The complete harness goes over your chest, and this right here will lock in like this, and you can mount the camera right in front of you, and it's perfect. Let's take a closer look at the camera and all the features. You can see the housing resembles GoPro very closely. You have all stainless steel screws around here, stainless button, very nice. Slide that arrow to the right. It just hooks over the back. The camera is very small, just like a GoPro. Over here is the memory card slot. And you have your USB charging if you want to connect it to your computer, download images and videos. And over here is the connector for an HDMI cable to connect to your television. Here's a screen. Over here is what you would push to activate recording and take photographs. The up and down arrows are used for digital zoom as well as navigating around inside the display. Let me turn it on by pushing the power button and holding it. Over here is the date, current time, 24-hour clock, 8:24, 140 degrees is the field of view. It goes as high as 170. Top right is the battery power. Next to that is your microphone, indicating that the microphone is turned on. Over here is something called loop recording, which I'll show you in a minute. That's the current setting, VGA 240 frames a second. And that's the available time on the card for recording using the VGA 240. Push the button. Right now it's recording. Push it again to stop. If you push this button right over here, push it once. You're now in the photograph mode. It says 12M right here. That's how many pictures you can take, 3,792. Using a 16 gigabyte card. Push that button in the front again. And now you can select using the arrows on the side right here. TV out if you had an HDMI cable. Video lapse. Photo lapse. If you want to do playback to see what you did, you want to go to Setup. To choose it, push the button on top right here. Now you see different resolution. Alright. To choose it, you can push on top. And now you can go up and down. It does 4K at 24, 2K at 30. This setting here is my favorite setting, the 1080 60 frames. You have the 720 at 120. All the way down to the high speed, 240 frames per second VGA. Let me leave it there. Select. Loop recording. You could set how big each one of the video files is going to be. So if you want a 3-minute file, a 5-minute file, or a 10. And the reason why you do that, if you have a dash-mounted camera, what it does, after a while, if the card becomes full, it starts going over those video files one by one until it gets to the very end. So it doesn't erase the entire card, it starts picking off the files from the beginning. So you keep getting that loop going, and you could choose 3, 5, or 10. Select. FOV is field of view. You have 170 all the way down to 70, or you could leave it off. I leave it there. This setting is wide dynamic range. I leave that on. That helps lighter and darker areas of a video to blend together better. Over here, gyro. If you're going to be bouncing around, running, or anything else, you're going to turn that on. Motion detection. If there's any motion detected in the camera, by moving it around, recording will begin. Audio settings, volume settings, TV output. You can turn that on and off. TV mode. North America, you leave it on that. That's for the display, on-screen display. Slow motion, you could choose -2, -4, -8 for slow-mo. I'll show you samples of that later. Video file format, you get to choose between the two. I leave mine at 12. Some of the newer Sjcam cameras go as high as 16. Alright. I leave mine at fine. Sharpness is normal. White balance can be adjusted. Color. The ISO, if you're out in very bright sun, you can leave it at 100. If you're taking pictures when it's fairly dark inside of a house, you would leave it at 1600, or you can let the camera decide. Exposure value. If you're in a dark area, you want to make it a little brighter, you go up. If you're in a very bright area, you can go down and make the image a little darker. Exposure time, you can adjust that too. How fast. You could choose this setting here if you want a raw file output. On, off. Underwater mode. On, off. If you want to have a whole bunch of images taken in one shot, you could choose how many in a row. Is a dash cam setting, daytime, auto power off setting, different screensavers, frequency, I leave it 60 Hertz, logo watermarks. If you want to delete things, you can go to format, choosing default will put it back to a factory setting, and version shows you the firmware, which is 1.25. Got a nice edge all around the camera, kind of rubbery feeling. Turn this off for a minute. Take a look at the battery compartment. And you grab that little tab, slide the battery right out, pop it back in. Good idea to have a spare. Connecting to your smartphone is very easy. Push the button right here. And now you go to your smartphone. Go into settings, Wi-Fi, right over here. There it is, SJ5000. Connect. Okay, now I'm going to escape from here. Let me go over to the app right there. And I choose connect to your camera. Once the smartphone is connected to the camera, you'll have full access to that camera. What I'm going to do now is show you some sample video and photos from the camera.